Hi, folks. Asia, your host to speak on it. I am preparing to watch this clown show of a debate. I turned on the channel for this debate, and all I see right now is Beto O'Rourke sitting at his dinner table, and he's sitting down with a whole bunch of people and talking about Donald Trump, how Donald Trump is a racist. Someone just asked him, if you call him a racist, aren't you implying the people that support him racist? And everyone on this table is saying, no, you're not, but he's giving permission to the racist. I'm just going to turn this up so I can, stay up to date with what's happening. I mean, honestly, I'm waiting for this debate. But Beto, oh my gosh, I gotta move my laptop over, you guys, because I'm doing this from my computer, and I gotta see the stupid stuff that's coming from Beto. I mean, I don't know if you guys are watching it. I know I am. Absolutely. What? As they pull broccoli from a bowl and criticizing Donald Trump. Some more. Brian Pitts from ABC News is sitting at this table. What constituents? Are these all journalists that are sitting here right now? Are these all journalists? Are any of these people actually his constituents? Are these really his voters? Or are you sitting with journalists? Journalists who we know are biased in the first place. What? They're seeking asylum or refuge or shelter. Not all of them. And that was the point that Trump was making when he said what he said. And in fact, they will not be detained or warehoused or put in. They don't need to be detained. If some of them are criminal, shouldn't they be locked up? We would have a family case management program. Family case management. So more tax-paying dollars. Which non-for-profit can get the most money to be ineffective? I work in a non-profit organization, folks, and there are so many organizations that are supposed to help the homeless and help the people who are addicted, and not many of them are being effective, but they're making money. So in those instances, I do. The permanent legal residents, the green card holders already here, make them U.S. citizens. Free dreamers from any fear of deportation. No. The underlying causes of outmigration and refugees and asylum seekers from Central America. What do you mean? There are crimes being committed, Beto. That's why they're coming here in the first place. And when you have criminals that are in control of the immigration coming from Central America, then what the hell do you expect? Lara Logan did just cover that whole story at the border, or did you not watch? You're sitting around a whole bunch of journalists. Why don't you ask one of them to actually tell you what's happening at the border? Is he for real? No, they shouldn't be immune from criminal prosecution. If you are a criminal, you need to be arrested, charged, prosecuted, and then convicted. He's sitting with a woman who's from El Paso. She's most worried about healthcare, gun control. Well, maybe if your Congress and those stupid ass Democrats in office were actually doing their jobs, maybe you might have some comprehensible legislation as far as those issues are concerned. Because they're not doing anything except trying to impeach a president that's trying to be effective for you. And then a year later, how's my case going? Well, it's behind and blah, blah, blah. So she's worried about her immigration court case. Pay for your attorneys. If you want to know why is it so expensive, maybe that's something that can be done, because maybe if you're not a criminal, but you came into this country legally, then maybe we can assist you with getting those costs lowered. But we're not going to lower the cost of an attorney. We're not going to lower the cost to become an American citizen. If what you want is to be American, then you are willing to pay everything to become one. And because this is the land of opportunity, you can make back what you spent tenfold. A family member who I want to live with. And at some point, Beto was filled with a crock of Stocco, everybody. He's filled with Stocco. Those who are here are doing these jobs, providing a safe, lawful, orderly, quick path. Quick path? No, it's not going to be quick. Whoever tells you that, like when you hear videos of get rich quick schemes and things like that, let me tell you that's a crock of BS. So when they say that you're going to be fast tracked to become an American citizen, don't buy that crap. It's a bunch of hogwash. It is a lie. They're telling you that you're going to get rich quick. But really, it's a scheme for you to put more money into it, put more of your time and energy into it, and really, ultimately, you get absolutely nothing in return.
Success, are you a evangelical/liberal?
Right, because he's sitting with a Christian and a liberal. That doesn't seem to exist. But this is a woman who says, oh, I don't believe that the people who support the president are racist, but I think he's giving them permission to be racist. So what? You are saying that Trump supporters are racist. So what am I, a race traitor?
We're looking for a broader option. And I didn't vote in 2016 in the presidential election because morally, like, I couldn't.
You couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton either. So stop putting all the blame on Donald Trump as if he's to blame for what the problems are in this country. You're the people that he's sitting with right now. And why the hell are we covering him in the first place? I turned this channel on to watch a debate.
Home, and I try to find the common ground. And
Okay, because I can't anymore. I'm just going to mute them and kind of wait for the debate, which might not even come on till like 8:30, 9 o'clock, which I hope comes on in the next 17 minutes. Because really, who wants to stay up late watching the clown show? Who really does? Beto was a part of the problem. He's a part of a bigger problem because he's not the only one to blame. I don't know if he's aware of the lies that he's telling or if he's really that stupid in believing the shit that he's saying. Excuse my language, but this is ridiculous. Beto's the same man who was telling people around his own table who have guns. Certainly some of them do. You live in El Paso, Texas. You have a gun. This is the same man who said, I want to take all your guns away. He's got a black man sitting at his table. I bet you that black man who's so worried about the KKK, I bet you he has a legal firearm, though. You're going to take his gun away? If there are racists across this country, if we have to deal with the KKK and neo-Nazis, why would you want to take away legal, legitimate firearms from Black America if we're the slave class you're so worried about saving? How about you let us keep our guns and we can protect our own damn selves? How about we do that for ourselves? We don't need you to take the guns away from from white people. No, we have our own guns to protect ourselves from whatever hatred you're dredging up. Beto O'Rourke and most of these Democrat liberals. I can't believe Elizabeth Warren is holding the lead, but out of everybody on the far left, she's the only one with the most structure. And it seems like all the moderates trying to play this game of far leftist gamesmanship can't win. Why? Because they don't actually believe the crap that they were saying. Buttigieg. And I call him that for a reason, not because he's gay, but because he sucks as a politician. He's booty. I'm not throwing any type of, LGBT slur out there. I call him Buttigieg simply because he is a bad politician. The people of his own district, of his own town, think he's a shitty mayor. I call him that. I call him Buttigieg for that reason only, not because he's gay. But let's be for real here. When you think of a gay politician, you expect him to be leftist, to be far leftist. And when you met Mayor Pete, he wasn't far left at all. He seemed like a moderate Democrat. And then as the campaign went on, he went far and far left. I was like Meghan McCain at one point. I liked the things that he was saying. Not anything regarding health care for all, not anything as far as gun control was concerned, not anything regarding immigration was concerned. When he was simply talking about bringing civility back, I heard him on that point. Because we do need to bring civility back. That's a huge part of the problem. And a lot of people in the mainstream media are the ones perpetuating the uncivil behavior that we're seeing in our society. But since the campaign has gone along, Buttigieg has gotten more far and far left, which is probably why he's starting to drop more in the polls. Bernie Sanders, I heard from someone that he had a heart attack a few weeks ago. The fact that he's still in this race, I mean, come on. I don't want you to win this race, but I damn sure don't want you to croak trying to win. If you're like, come on, Bernie, you know you're up there. If you really had a heart attack, you really shouldn't be in this race. Bow out now. Like, what is it with these politicians thinking that we want to watch them die in office? We don't. This is America. There's no monarchy. You don't have to stay there for life. You can retire. You can resign. Or we can just do something smart and put term limits in for senators and congressmen. But that's a whole other conversation for a whole other episode, folks. But Beto, and he's still on my TV. Why are you still on my TV? You should be debating right now. You should be debating. If this isn't gamemanship, this is as bad as when he spoke Spanish at the first debate or second debate or whichever debate was. He spoke in Spanish simply because he was pandering to a particular demographic. And now here we are. He's sitting at a table with different types of people. I'll give him that. But what do we get from this? We get absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. We're not learning anything new about you. We know you still want to take our guns away. We know you still want to decriminalize crossing the border illegally. We know you still want to give health care to illegals. We know you have absolutely no plan on how to solve the problems that are coming from Central America. And the only person who does is Donald Trump. You know why? Because economies, money is what stops the problem. Not throwing money at the problem. No. Giving citizens the power to make their own is what saves communities. It's what saves nations. Capitalism, democracy. What you're seeing in Central America is a bunch of thugs running a government. They have control over the money, control over the military. And until we root out the thugs, the cartels, the traffickers, until we get them out of power in those areas, well, that's what you're going to have. So that's why we're building a freaking wall. And all that crap about how, he's trying to build a wall to separate the rich from the poor. Let me be clear. The only way you can separate the rich from the poor in America is to put a wall in America. Putting a wall on the border does not separate the poor from the rich. It separates one country from another. Mexico, until they decide they want to be, are not America. They're not America. They are another nation with problems that people are trying to flee. And not just flee. People who are criminals are trying to get here to enjoy the riches of which Donald Trump has produced and use the money that they're making illegally here, sending it back to the cartels over there. No, we're going to build a wall. This isn't about separating the rich from the poor. This is about separating the land of the free from the thugs. Plain and simple. It's that simple. So when you have people like Beto O'Rourke talking about how he doesn't want to build a wall, how the wall is racist, so you're separating the brown people from the white people. Mofo, who lives in this country? I'm black. I am not white. So him putting the wall up is separating who? The brown from the black? I don't think so. No. We're simply making a clear distinction between America and Mexico. I can't. And it's still going on. I mean, how much longer do we have to go? I've been on here for 12 minutes and 31 seconds, and it's still Beto's face on my screen. I want the debate. I mean, granted, I said in an episode that I shot earlier that I'll be posting soon, once it's finished, being produced and edited. I said that a lot of people I said all of them on this debate stage are going to be far leftist. The only person that I was really looking forward to, who I don't think is even going to be up here, is Tulsi Gabbard. Why? Because she actually has some ideas. I don't think that she's going to win the primary vote if she's still in the race. If she's not, well, I was right. She wasn't going to win. But I would have preferred that she did win the primary, because at least the debate between her and Donald Trump would have been interesting and filled with ideas. And maybe she would say something that he might like and might actually bring her on to assist with that type of policy. She is one of the women in Congress who believes in bringing troops home, that we should not be engaging in regime change wars. She believes in that. And Trump's actions recently suggest that he agrees with the same thing. We are not going to keep coming in here to change power from one government to another. We're not here for that. We are here to kill a disease like cancer. ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, they are all cancer cells, all of them. And we need to treat the problem at the source. That is Islamic belief. We're not going to keep going in there trying to say, oh, this president needs to be the ruler here, or this president needs to be the ruler here, or this prince needs to be here. No, we're not doing that. We're pulling our troops out. It's your job now to defend your own. And if you two want to fight, I'm talking about Turkey and Syria, that is your business. We came here for our fight. Our fight was to take out ISIS. We did that. It's your job to figure out your own political BS. We're not here for that. Now, the fact that they don't know how to do it civilly, the fact that they have to fight their war with guns and bombs shows you how underdeveloped, not just as a nation, but ideologically, they are underdeveloped. because they start thinking guns and wars. Oh, Spartacus. Wait, what's around the table? What is this? What is around the table? They're just sitting with a bunch of politicians. I got to unmute for Spartacus because I got to see what stupid crap he's going to say this time. We got to hear it. Like, is he going to say I'm Spartacus again? Because since he said that, that's all he's been. Every time I see him, I never call him by his name. Every time I see him, whether it be a newspaper or social media post, that man is straight Spartacus. And I know you know who I'm talking about. A freaking commercial. We better be coming back to a debate. No one cares. So while they're doing this and talking more and more crap about Donald Trump, because that's exactly what they're doing, they cut to commercial and went right to Donald Trump and started showing all the bad footage that Trump has as far as, the things that he said and things of that nature. Him and his children, as they always do. But I digress. We're having too many issues with these candidates. Not one of them are going to be Donald Trump. And the fact that a lot of people like me are even taking the time to even comment on how terrible these candidates are should say something in itself. None of these candidates are going to win. Not one of them. Not one of them. They are so far left. What I will say, though, give it 20 years. Yep, give it 20 years. And candidates like AOC, when she says she's running for president, because I believe she will, give it 20 years. She's only 30. When she runs for president, she'll be just like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. She'll just be Latina. That'll be the only difference. But what's worse is that America might actually vote for that kind of president. It takes 20 years to destroy a nation. 20 years. How do I know that? Because that's how long it took to destroy Venezuela. Venezuela was number 3 as far as greatest economies were concerned. Venezuela was number 3. 20 years later, Venezuela is now, a cabal of crime. We have to worry about Russia, Hezbollah, China. All of our adversaries are down in Venezuela right now as we speak. Yes, they have a new president. I want to say his name is Guaido. I've been following a little bit of that story with Trish Reagan, Primetime. She's been following that story. She has him come onto her show and, she knows she's bilingual, so she can speak Spanish, but they translate enough where we can see, them fighting back against Maduro and his military regime. That is grand and all, but what are we doing as far as the crime that's making it across its way, that's coming here? Venezuela is not that far. This is like the same issue that we had with the Russians and Cuba. Do you remember way back when, even in X-Men First Class, they kind of referenced that issue a little bit when the Russians had to cross that line. The second they crossed the line, America was ready to blow that ship out of the water, because if they made it to Cuba, they could drop a nuke on Florida because of how close they were. They can do the same thing from Venezuela. They are not that far. So when you hear that Russia made its way to Venezuela, or you hear that China made its way to Venezuela, or you hear that caliphate like Hezbollah is in Venezuela, well, what's to stop them from trying to drop a nuke on Florida now? Or Texas, or New York? Oh, ABC's talking about Hunter Biden. This is the thing I was talking about in my episode that I'll be releasing pretty soon. Hunter Biden. I just did a whole 44-minute about this. Hunter Biden, folks. He needs to go to jail. I mean, if there's any evidence of criminal activity, which I believe they're going to find, he needs to go to jail. To jail. And if we find out that Joe Biden committed a crime, then he needs to go to jail. I'm over them. I'm so over them. And the damn media not doing a damn thing about it. Did any of you watch that video? Watch the interview? I hope you guys did, because Lord God, oh my gosh, Lord, please forgive America for not seeing the problems before they happened. Because, good gosh, not one that journalist did not hit hard at all. At all. It's so crazy. ABC is like, they're showing all the things that should make Trump look bad, but really looking at it and not listening to it, just looking at it. It looks bad for the left. It just looks bad for them. It always does. All of the stuff that they're spinning just comes right back around like a boomerang. Judge Jeanine says it all the time. She said it in her book. I hope you guys read it because it is flawless. I'm not done with it just yet. I just got the book, so I'm still working my way through it, and I'm not a lawyer, and she uses a lot of legal terminology. Granted, she puts a lot of footnotes in it in the back of the book for you to so you can follow along, but still doing all that flipping and turning to get to the footnote and actually getting back to the section in which you were at makes it difficult to get through the book pretty fast because I speed read, but you can't speed read if you don't fully understand what you're saying, what you're reading. So it's a phenomenal book. I really hope you guys go out there and read it because it was great. But nonetheless, back to what I was saying, the journalists today, they are awful. They are awful. You're not going to find a serious journalist on broadcast on any channel for that matter. I mean, don't get me wrong. You still have some decent journalists left. They're all on Fox News, if you ask me. But even then, right? Even to say that they're all on Fox News, that shows my bias. But I do try to give these journalists on on mainstream media an opportunity to show me that they're not the left, that they're not, just these people who put out BS. I try really, really hard to give them the benefit of the doubt. I try so hard to hold this person to a different standard because you are an individual. You are not, the mob. You are not the rest of them. Every time I watch a different journalist, I give each journalist the opportunity to show me that they are a real, true journalist, and they just fail epically every time. And that journalist on ABC, I don't even know what her name is. And I probably should figure it out. But after watching that interview and how the lack of hard-hitting journalism, the lack of pushback on her part. I mean, if she was sitting in front of Megyn Kelly, if Hunter was sitting in front of Megyn Kelly, Megyn would have said to him, that is a dodge. Stop dodging the question and answer it. Why didn't you, renew your contract with them? Oh, because I didn't want it to cause a distraction. You didn't want to cause a distraction to your father's campaign? Really? You resigning from a firm from what? Last year or 2 years ago? How did you even know that your father was going to run for office 2 years ago? What do you had a vision? Who are you, Raven? I don't know if you guys know what I mean by that. If you're my age and you watched Disney Channel growing up, you know Raven Simone from That's So Raven, and you know she always had these visions. So unless Hunter Biden had one of those, him resigning had nothing to do with his father's campaign whatsoever. But that's what he told the journalist. And that's what the mainstream media are spinning. Oh, he resigned because he didn't want to show any impropriety when his father becomes the president of the United States. When he becomes the president of the United States, let's get to that point, and then I'll go back to what I was saying as far as him spinning a crock of BS and the mainstream media just trying to jumping on it. When he becomes the president of the United States, no, Elizabeth Warren has a higher shot at getting the primary. So let's say Donald Trump wasn't the president of the United States. Okay, we'll say Elizabeth Warren has a better shot at beating Joe Biden. I love Joe to a degree. He's creepy, but everybody has one in their family. Everybody does. As long as he's not touching women inappropriately. When I say inappropriately, y'all know what I mean. An accidental brush across the boob is, as long as he apologizes, that's fine. Just as long as he apologizes. He seems to have recognized that. Everybody in their family has one. He's just the uncomfortable uncle you just say hi and bye to, and you don't really sit next to him when you're at a barbecue. That's fine. But everything else, if you committed a crime, Joe, you need to go to jail. Plain and simple. All right, Spartacus is back, so I'm unmuted. We got to see what this mofo's saying, because Spartacus has a whole bunch to say. He's a vegan. Oh, well, maybe that's why he's supporting AOC's Green New Deal, because he doesn't really give a rat's ass about the cows because he doesn't eat them. That makes sense. I'll give him that. I mean, I don't agree with the Green New Deal, but I get why he supported it. He clearly doesn't give a crap about cows because he doesn't eat them. That was me being redundant, but you guys catch the drift. Ask him a question. Who gives a crap about the food? You see? Oh, look at this. A journalist, again, at the table. From where? ABC. The same network that just interviewed Hunter Biden. Oh, okay. So you have a Muslim sitting at the table. Ask him a question. Let the Muslim ask you a question. You got somebody from Newark. That's my area.
Right over my head. How do we define the affordable housing? And the reality is that.
Okay, so he's asking about affordable housing. What are you saying? What are you going to say?
Those developments, the nature of the development is not to help anyone that is a Newark resident. So
No, it's not. You're right.
Now, one could say, okay, we're going to put 30 units of affordable housing in here, but the inclination was never to develop affordable housing. The inclination was to develop a luxury building. When I was trying to find a place,
You want to know why people can't get affordable housing? Because the people who are building them are trying to build them to be so luxurious. People who just want to get off the street don't give a rat's ass about a marble counter. They just want a roof over their head. They could be sleeping in sleeping bags as long as they're in an apartment.
So I don't know how much you're paying above a third of your income, which makes you automatically housing insecure. But I believe just in the way
Housing insecure. You mean homeless? Say it. Homeless.
Tax credit is targeted towards renters.
do you think that housing, clean, safe, affordable housing is a right?
This idea in America.
No. Okay. That was it right there. Okay. So for those who don't know me, I'm going to say I work for a non-for-profit organization, and we assist all of our clients with trying to find low-income housing and affordable housing and all that stuff. And every time there's a new building that opens up that some celebrity built, like Queen Latifah or Shaq or whoever, we try to get our clients into the units that are listed as affordable housing. Because again, not all of the building is affordable housing. They're building luxury apartments. And sometimes clients get those apartments, right? Here's the deal. Even the clients believe that it is a right to have affordable housing. Now, do I believe that we have issue with homelessness? Yes. Do I believe that we have an issue with some of these landlords and these building owners raising rent anytime they want to in the middle of a lease? Yes. However, affordable housing is not a right. No, it is not. You know what's a right? Giving you the opportunity to obtain your own place. That is a right. So we need to make sure that we can help you get the opportunity. That's what we should be focusing on as an industry, as a non-for-profit industry. We need to be focused on getting these people opportunity. But how do we do that? Getting them skills is a way to do that. Incentivizing them to create businesses. And the very people who create businesses can employ the people in their own communities. And maybe, just maybe, if they make enough money, they might even be able to buy a property themselves so they can put their own employees up. I mean, that's an idea. Why is everyone saying that we need to have affordable housing when you can talk to business owners and landlords, get a deal going and figure out how can businesses and landlords come together as far as housing the people that are now working? How can you do that? Business owners come together, especially if you live in a community like Newark or East Orange. If you own businesses, if you're a regular family-owned mom and pop business, get into contact, start talking to the neighboring businesses around you who are just like you, mom and pop. Come together, find apartments, and start housing your own employees. Do that. Find a way. Stop saying that affordable housing is a right to everybody, because what they mean is that it's a right to illegals, not to the very citizen, not to the Newark residents, not to the homeless that are sleeping on the streets, not to the veterans. The only people who have the right to affordable housing, if you ask me, are the veterans, because at least they went out there and got their limbs blown off so we can have our freedom to work and to live and to have a life of prosperity and love. Veterans deserve the right to affordable housing. They're the only ones who have that right. They're the only ones. Why? Because they went over there and lost limbs. They lost bits and pieces of their own humanity and their own mentality. Some come home and don't have it all together. That is a man or a woman that deserves affordable housing. Why? Because they fought and earned the right to have affordable housing. Everybody else in America, nah, you need to go out there and you need to work. Now you need to go out there and you need to go create a business and you need to figure out how you can take care of your own family. Maybe we need to do it like how we did in the 60s, right? Buy a big ass house. If you're a family, if you own a business, go buy a big ass house and give everybody a wing. Everybody contributes. That's how we did it in the 60s. We just bought land, bought big ass houses, and everybody in this one family lived here. A family of 20 could live here. My brother and his wife would have, and his children would have a wing. Me and my husband, my children will have a wing. My parents will be way, way, way upstairs or downstairs to the back because they don't want to be messed by anybody. That's how we could do things. But no, we must give people affordable housing. I work in this industry. You don't give anybody in Newark no damn affordable housing. We have to fight tooth and nail to get one person an apartment. One. And then you got to deal with lists like Section 8 and crap like that. No, go out there and get a business. Go get a job. Become more responsible with your finances. Figure out how you can make more passive income. No, but everybody wants to send their kids to school. Everybody wants to do that and make your kid broke. And now they're living in your house and you're ready to kick your child out, but your child don't have enough money to move. You're trying to get your kid hooked up with all the benefits in the world, but you're not giving he or she the tools to monetize on their own intelligence, to work hard and make more money, and no one's teaching them how to be responsible financially. You know what my older sister had to teach me, because my mother didn't know this information to teach my older sister. My older sister is almost 50, people, okay? That's the gap between how old I am and my older sister. My older sister had to learn this for herself. And then she taught me. Why? Because my mother didn't know this information. My sister told me, you need to learn about investments. Whatever you make a week, try to save like 20% of however much you make every week and put it in an investment account. Why? Because you can make money passively. How can you make more money doing that while having your day job? You want to bring in money from every kind of way possible. Legally, you don't want to go out there hustling drugs on the street, because I would never do that. First of all, I don't even have the balls to do that because I'm not going to jail. My mother scares me enough. Could you imagine going to prison? I couldn't handle it. My mother scares me by herself. Okay? Cops and jails and judges intimidate the bejesus out of me. I could not do it. My mother is enough. So me committing a crime was never going to happen. You know what I had to do when I wasn't working in this industry? I was babysitting. I was working for a dance instructor. I was figuring out ways to make money by myself. I was, helping somebody else, buy and sell tickets, and I would see a profit off of their tickets. Why? Because I put my own money up. I would give them the money to go buy Broadway tickets. They would go sell them and they would give me a cut. Why? Because I put the money up to go buy the tickets. I figured out ways to bring in money. I was not committing a crime. And as I got older, I started to realize what it is that I'm passionate about, what I want to do. And now I got to sit and I got to realize, okay, how can I make my business grow? How can I make this profitable? And that's what I'm working on now. It does not mean quit my job, because that's a part of the problem with my generation. My generation don't ever want to work for nothing. They think they're owed riches. No, work for it. Work for it. Work for your own money. If what you want is to be your own boss, then figure out a way to do that. But that doesn't mean quit your job. It doesn't mean be disgruntled. It doesn't mean act like a child and throw tantrums. And this is what I keep saying as far as the Black community is concerned, right? They need the right incentive. They need the right support. They need the proper instruction, and no one's giving that to them at all. No one is giving that to them, to Black America specifically. No one wants to give them that. The Muslim is asking him a question. I got to ask. I got to see what she's saying, because I got in trouble at work. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys backstory if you didn't know already, because I said it in a few of my other episodes and in my interview with True Conservatives. And I went into it a little bit with Lucretia from the Lucretia Hughes Show. And I think I spoke a little bit about it with Paloma for Trump. But I'll be talking more about that on Wednesday with her, about how I was red-pilled and all that extra stuff. But I digress. I was at work one day, and I was pulled into my supervisor's office. I didn't know why. I didn't know what was going on. I knew I was in trouble because I never get pulled into the supervisor's office. I'm that good at work. But I get pulled into the office and she tells me to sit down. I'm like, okay, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? She says to me, my supervisor says to me, no, you didn't do anything wrong, but I need to talk to you about your Facebook. Now, mind you, give you a backstory about my Facebook. At the time that I was pulled into the office, my Facebook, I was posting a lot about Ilhan Omar, because she had just been, she just won her election, and she won, and she, just took the oath or whatever. And I was finding a lot out about her And I believe her to be a radical in office who's encouraging the worst of the Muslim community. And I was saying a lot of this in my Facebook posts, and apparently a colleague of mine who is Muslim, well, she's not a colleague anymore. She left a few weeks ago, actually, like in late September, she left. But she was Muslim. But I didn't think anything of it. I don't believe all Muslims to be like Ilhan Omar. I think Ilhan Omar gives Muslims in America a bad rep, personally. Not all Muslims think the way that she thinks. They're very Americanized, but not Ilhan. Ilhan was not born here. Unfortunately, she was old enough to learn bad habits and bad ideology in Somalia. So by the time she got here, it was too late to, for her to actually assimilate. And I was saying all this on my Facebook, but my colleague internalized all of my posts about Ilhan and went into work on a day that I had off and said that she didn't feel safe because of the way that I thought about Muslims in general. You see what she did? She took my Facebook post about one person and made it about herself and said that she was unsafe. Being in the same office as me. Mind you, we had worked weeks on weeks together. Months, actually. Because she said this in like March. End of March. But we have been working together since the end of December. So months have gone by and you haven't said anything to me about anything like this. We developed a very good working relationship. You realize that I was a very decent, intelligent, young woman. I was very respectful. I didn't give a rat's ass about your religion. I just wanted to get the job done for our clients because that's why we're here. But no, you still report my Facebook to my supervisor, and she pulled me into the office for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, to lecture me, not to tell me that, Asia, listen, if a colleague can find your Facebook, then so can our clients. And a lot of our clients are Muslim, and we don't want to scare them out the door to another agency. If that's what she had said to me, that would have been a valid argument. I would have made my Facebook private, and that would have been the end of the discussion. No, you sat me down and you lectured me about how my opinions about Ilhan Omar makes me look like a bigot towards all Muslims. That was a broad brush that they were putting on Muslims, not me. I didn't paint the broad brush. They did, simply because they assumed I was talking about all Muslims. I explained to my supervisor that I was studying different religions. I was trying to figure out not which one was best for me, but what are the similarities in all the religions as far as Catholicism, Christianity, Judaism, and Muslim? What are the commonalities between all those religions? What are the key differences of the ideology in each religion, and which one has been a most prominent threat in American society? That is the Muslim religion and Catholicism as far as the leadership is concerned, and them molesting little boys. Those are the two problematic religions. I spoke ill will of both religions regarding the ideology as far as the Muslim religion is concerned, and the sexual predatory behavior coming from the Catholic Church. I was Facebook posting about all of that. And I had to explain that to my supervisor. But we're going back and forth, debating my opinions, not talking about how this could affect the clients, how this could affect business. No, you're just sitting me down to talk crap about my opinion and call me a bigot. All because one colleague, a new hire, might I add, when I had been there since June of, 2018? So June of 2018, I had been there in this particular office when I had worked for the same organization in another office. So you knew me already. Everyone in this office knew me already. But one new person comes in and you believe her. I have to wait for a promotion that I was offered back in January. I had to wait to get more hours. It wasn't necessarily a promotion as far as, being receptionist to office manager. That's not what was offered. No. The hours and the responsibility, which meant more pay for me, that was held back from me simply because of one new hire. Why? Because she internalized my posts. This is why I had to hear what this woman is saying, because it has anything to do with the Muslim religion. I want to know what the hell she's saying.
Community or incentive.
I want to know what she's saying, because if Cory Booker is pandering to her BS as far as, you know, the Muslim religion and the president is Islamophobic and a lot of his supporters are Islamophobic, I'm going to tell you this, it's a crock of crap. That is a load. It is hogwash. It is stocko. It is sugar honey iced tea. That's what it is. That's what it is. And someone needs to tell them that. So I'm telling you guys this as I'm watching this.
They have the same lead service line.
This is ridiculous.
And this
What are you talking about now? Just say it.
That's what I'm
Just
saying.
say it.
Like, isn't it, because we talk about our cities, like.
This woman is from Philly, by the way. Let me just say that. She's from Philly.
And then when Flint happened, it was like,
That's his question. Why are we?
you know.
Talking about Flint, Michigan.
And what are, you going to do in your presidency to.
What are you gonna
shift
do?
that and make it so we're getting the funding, we're getting what we need.
Getting the funding? What? Okay, so she's not asking about the religion. She's not. She's asking simply, what is Spartacus presidency going to do to make sure that certain areas get the funding to prevent issues like Flint, Michigan from happening again? Because apparently, because Newark is going through their own their own water crisis, just like Flint, Michigan is going through. But here's the problem. Okay, let me explain something to you guys, right? I don't like the mayor of Newark right now. Baraka is his name, last name. I don't really care about what his full name is. I just know I just don't like him or his policies. But here's the deal, right? This mayor of Newark he's trying his damnedest to get money, right? Taxpayer dollars to solve the problem of the water crisis in Newark. Why can't he get taxpayer dollars to pay for that? You want me to tell you? I will. It's simply because there aren't enough people working. You know how many people have unemployment though? You know how many young people in Newark are collecting SSI? You know how many people in Newark are not working? There are not enough taxed people in the city of Newark to get money to fix the problem. That is number one. Number two, not enough people who own property so they can take care of their own problems. Not at all. Not at all. That's number two. Number three, him trying to go to all the businesses in Newark to take care of the water crisis. Granted, should businesses play a role in saving their community? Of course they should. But that's why you employ people, because me employing you gives you the power over your own destiny. Plain and simple. I'm giving you the power as a business owner, and me employing you is giving you the power to take over your own destiny. That is what is happening. The mayor of Newark can't find the funding from taxpayers, so now he's got to go and ask the federal government for money to solve a problem that people of Newark should have been able to solve for themselves. Most of these low-income housing buildings that you're living in are old as all hell, and not one of you own your apartment. Not one of you are working, so we can't tax your income. Or if we do tax your income, you're only making like what, $300, $400 a month? If that much. So what are we taking from you as far as taxes are concerned? The only people who make enough as far as taxes aren't even people, they're businesses. There are businesses. So when you have someone sitting here in front of Spartacus here asking, is your presidency going to give us the funding so we can prevent these issues like in Flint, Michigan and in Newark? That is a load of crap. How about hold your own community accountable for the problems that it is facing, like water crisis? Water crisis is something that the community could have solved and fixed by now if the community was working. It's really that simple, but no, nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to work. There's a lot of the problems that we face at my job right now. So many people don't want to work, but you want all the luxuries in life. So many people don't want to work, but they want the best healthcare in the world. Now, I don't want you to sit here and suffer in pain, but I'm telling you, Medicaid is not going to be able to pay for all of the treatment of which you need. I am telling you, go get a job that offers you the best health care you can possibly afford. Go get that job so they can help you take care of yourself. Also, maybe you should stop using drugs, because that's another thing that you have to deal with. A lot of people would rather smoke pot, smoke crack, drink alcohol. They'll funnel all the money that they're getting and put it into their own addiction, as opposed to putting it towards a better future for themselves. But they want all the luxuries of life. It don't work that way. The mayor can't keep going to the federal government asking for money, because that money has to be put back. If Trump says, sure, I'll send you $250,000 so you can solve your problem, the mayor's going to say, Mr. President, that's nowhere near enough. Well, of course it's not, but I'm not trying to bankrupt Newark. If we give you more than $250,000, how are you going to pay that back? How are you going to give the federal government back their money if you can't tax these people anymore? Granted, Trump ran on taxes and tax cuts and stuff like that, but what taxes is Newark paying anyway if people are only making $300 to $400 a month through unemployment, the SSI, disability? You're not working. You are not working. And what's mind-boggling is when you have someone that's only 32 years old or 35, or hell, even my age, coming in there saying, I don't want to work. I have unemployment because I worked for about 5 years. Wait a minute. So you worked for about 4 to 5 years. You're only 25. So that means you've been working since you were 20. You weren't in school, so you weren't untaxed. But yeah, you put money into unemployment. How long do you think this source of income is going to last you? You're 25 now. You only worked for 4 or 5 years. You're collecting unemployment. How long do you think that source of income is going to last? No, dude, get a job. But you want an apartment. You want a luxury apartment at that. You trying to get into Queen Latifah's new building because you can't tolerate the apartment that you're at now. Dude, we just got you into an apartment. We helped you get a job. We helped you get into an apartment. What did you do? No, you went, and instead of paying your rent, you went and put your money into your addiction. These are the problems that we're facing with the community of Newark. So when you see people who come from communities like that, or from Newark specifically, saying that they want the funding to solve their problems, I call crap on that. That's a load of crap. How dare you ask anybody, whether they are leftist or not, to find the funding to solve your problems when you have the physical, the mental, and emotional capability of getting a job and providing for yourself? There is no problem with you doing that. The only problems that you're facing are the ones that you're putting before you. If you say you can't do something, well, you've put it out there into the universe, so you damn sure can't do it. But the second you say, I can do something, I can work, I can get that job, I can pay for my own bills, then yeah, we're going to help you find a low-income apartment now. We're going to get you the training that you need as far as trade is concerned, so you have skills to get a better job. And so that way, when unemployment runs out, you have another source of income. When you get that other source of income, we're going to teach you about personal finance. We're going to teach you to budget. We're going to teach you to save. We're going to teach you to invest your money, whether it be in an investment bank or if it's something as small as stockpile. Doesn't matter what kind of investment that you're doing, as long as you're doing it. All these jobs that Trump has brought into this country, and you're telling me you can't find a job? There are so many people that I know that work in New York, and they sell Broadway tickets and they do commission. They told me one time that they had an opening, job openings, right? For holding up the sign. Frozen was just coming out. They had a deal going. You buy one, you get one free. The sign person would make salary of $10 an hour. It's part-time. They only be working 20 hours a week. I got 2 people the job. Interview. I got 2 people the interview. You know what happened when I called the next day to find out if they went? Your guys never showed up, Asia. I'm like, what happened? I just told you that there is a part-time job for 20 hours a week paying you $15 an hour, because what were y'all all crying about? Minimum wage? Well, they were promising you that for at least 20 hours a week, the both of you. And not one of you went. Not one of you went. But you know what they did do? They came back to the office looking for low-income housing, though. That's what they did. I tell you that there's a job out there for you that I know you can do. All it took was you holding up a sign in the heat or in the cold. But you're making $15 an hour for 20 hours a week. You would have a source of income. It is a job. It is a way for you to make money, to save money, to invest money. But you don't want to do it. But you come back here 2 days after I told you about the job interview and ask for low-income housing, but you don't want to put in the work. Those are the problems that we're having in Black communities. So when you see Black people talking to Spartacus about where he's going to get funding, he needs to tell them the truth. Don't pander to them. Tell them the truth. But he won't do that. He won't do that. Trump did, and he won. Trump told Black America the truth, and he won. Not only did he tell them the truth, but he put his money where his mouth was, and he brought jobs that Black America can fill. The left are so busy trying to make us, Black America, victims, where Trump said, nah, be your own hero. I'm going to give you the tools to be your own hero. And what happened? Huh? Black America called, thought he was bluffing. They called, and what happened? Black America is now working again. Lowest unemployment rate for Black America. You want to tell you why we're not seeing it in certain areas like Newark, like in areas like Chicago? Because of Black on Black crime. That is a whole other episode. I did one called Blood Money, and that was really about how the hip hop industry makes money off the blood of Black America. But that was about the hip hop industry. Black on Black crime is one of the biggest epidemics that we have in this country. It just is. And people need to recognize that. We can't be afraid to say it because Obama was. We can't be afraid to say it because the left are afraid to. We can't be afraid to say it because the mainstream media don't ever want to say it. Who cares what any of them think? What is it that we know? We know Black people are killing Black people. Nipsey Hussle died because of gang violence. Gangs are a problem in this country, especially in urban areas. And when you're allowing people to come across the border illegally, what are you going to see? You're going to see a mixture or a lot of crime and shootouts between American native-born Black gangs and Mexican cartel gangs like MS-13. So if you see a shootout happen in Brooklyn, it's because the Bloods and the Crips are probably fighting the MS-13. That is just me shooting at the hip. But that is a possibility because these mofos are coming across the border with drugs and guns and more crime. But now they're trying to take territory from Black gangs, and now Black gangs have to retaliate. This is the problem within urban areas. No business is going to move into an area where people are running around with machetes on their backs. What are we, Baghdad? Someone said that to me over the summer. They said to me that Brooklyn was Baghdad. I used to make a joke about myself. I used to say that my street smarts was about a C average. It was enough not to hang out, but to get through it. I could get through the streets with a C average. You know what this guy told me? He told me, you're going to have to bring that up if you're ever going to go back to Brooklyn. This is where I grew up. I grew up in Brooklyn. I live in Jersey now. I was born, raised in Queens, and I moved to Brooklyn when I was like 10. But from the ages of 10 to 15, I was in Brooklyn. I can't even go back there because it's Baghdad now. It's a freaking war zone now. And why is that, huh? Why is that? Because more gangs are becoming more powerful and they're moving into areas like Crown Heights. I can't even walk around with just a regular red hat on without people assuming either I'm MAGA or I'm blood. It's one or the other. It's never a good thing. You can't just wear a red hat just because of it. They either think you're a Trump supporter, which is reason enough to punch you out, or they think you're blood, and that's more than enough reason to shoot you. It's a lose-lose situation when you're Black living in urban areas and you're conservative. Plain and simple. No business is moving into Newark. No new businesses are going to move into Newark. Why? Because look at the people. The people don't want to work. They're lazy. They all want to do drugs. They don't want to do nothing. They want to shit and piss and trash everything around them. People are popping bullets after a certain hour. Cops are being told to stand down whenever. Why would any smart, rational thinking person move their business in there? Why? Especially in Chicago. Chicago's Baghdad. That's Baghdad. That's the freaking Iraq war, if you ask me. Chicago, freaking Laura Ingraham did a second town hall a year later after the one that she did last year. And she sat down with a woman who spoke about the death of her son in the most monstrous way. And still she has no justice. People are pulling guns out. That story about that little boy who was at the basketball court, he was playing ball. That's it. He's a little boy. He's playing basketball. Some grown-ass man came onto the court. He was playing ball with him for a little bit. He lured the little boy into an alleyway and shot that kid point blank. He was a child. Okay, when I say child, I don't mean, he was a teenager and we refer to them as children. No. He was like 9 years old. And all he did was innocently go to the park by himself to play ball. Why did this man shoot him? Because they couldn't get to his father. And he was brazen about it. Just lured him and shot him point blank because they couldn't get to his father. This is the problem in urban areas. So you want to talk about getting funding, but none of you want to deal with the actual problems that are keeping you so low and unemployed and poor and both riches and in mentality. I said to Paloma for Trump the other day when I was speaking with her on Skype, I said to her, I live in the epicenter of the hood mentality. I don't live in the hood. I live in between a hospital and a police station. How could that possibly be the hood, right? Why would anybody commit a crime so close to the police station? Well, that's because that's how they think. They don't give a rat's ass if the police are like 2 minutes away. They don't care. But that's hood mentality for you. I was in the elevator today on my way up, coming back home from work. And I had to get out. I couldn't even wait to get to my floor. I had to get out of the elevator. Why? Because you have people talking about hustling drugs. Hustling drugs. I was on the bus this morning with my twin sister. And I told her, we got to get off. We got to get off. She said, what's wrong? Why are we getting off so early? I thought you're going to ride this all the way up to your office building. I'm like, no, I can't even. There was a woman sitting on the bus and she was talking to some dude she might have been dating or whatever. And I'm going to go verbatim, exactly what she said. Get all your sisters. I got to do the head roll because this is what she was doing. And I'm black, so I can pull it off. And I'm not being a racist because, well, I'm black. I can do that. So she says, get all your sisters. Just know if they do something to me, I will have somebody come and take you out. This is what she's saying over the phone with everybody on the bus in earshot of her. She doesn't care what she is saying. You are saying openly on a bus filled with witnesses that if something happens to you physically by his sisters, so even if they just break a nail, you're sending someone to shoot your boyfriend? Is that what we're hearing right now? Now, I got to get away from that. Now, usually when I'm on the bus, I put my headphones in, I read a book, but I have my sister with me. So I'm trying to engage in conversation. But when you are around such ignorance, it just sucks all of any intelligence out of the room. Any type of intelligent conversation I tried to have with my twin sister, I could not because her loud and boisterous attitude over the phone with whoever she was talking to, this woman, it was sucking all of anything good and filled with integrity out of the room. And I had to get off the bus. It was too malicious to be around. It was too hood for me to even listen to. Because how sad. You are a beautiful, gorgeous, probably intelligent, young Black woman. I mean, she was gorgeous, you guys. She was gorgeous. Chocolate. She had gorgeous sand blonde type hair. She was a gorgeous woman. Gorgeous. But the way she spoke was so ridiculous. So thank you, Niles. Everything about her, I had to get the hell off that bus. And my sister didn't know what happened. But that's what happens when you live in an area like this and you are so different in ideology than the people around you. Cops are running back and forth on the strip and where I live. Not because of me, but because of the people around me. I have to worry about bullets in my area. Not because I'm doing something wrong, but the people in my area are. This is the problem in Black America. This is the problem right here, and no one wants to talk about it. None of these candidates want to talk about it. Know what we're going to see on this debate, and I know I started this video specifically to talk about the debate, but they were doing this stupid eating at the dinner table with all the candidates, and I had to hit pause until Spartacus came on. But I'm just going to end this now, and I'm just going to say one last thing. We have got to do better. We have to. And you Democrats, you may not like what I'm saying as far as my conservative beliefs are concerned. You may not like how I support the president. That's fine. I don't need you to. I really don't. But you got to do better than what's on the stage. You cannot really believe these people when they say this crap. You cannot. I expect better from all of you. All of you regular people, Democrats. It's not the constituents that are the demon rats here. It's the politicians. It's the politicians that are the demon rats, not you. So stop acting like them. Stop being so susceptible to the media's lies. Stop that. Stop. And be better. Pick better candidates for the next election, please. I mean, I don't want a Democrat to win for like the next, 100 centuries if humanity makes it that long. But still, your opinion is valid. What you want in America is valid. But if you are rooting for ideological civil war, if you are behind candidates like Elizabeth Warren and Cory Booker and Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders and even Joe Biden, you got to become knowledgeable, gain some wisdom, go back and go back to being that you that was an intellectual, that was eager to learn, because we were all that way at one point. Go back to that version of yourself and start teaching yourself, study, go back to being an intellectual. Because once you're there, I guarantee you will never, ever, ever buy into the hogwash that most of the Democrats and the establishment government are pushing. My name is Asia Branch. I am the host of Speak On It. You can find my Facebook page, Mind Out, Mind Up, on Facebook. We're also on Instagram. This is my channel, Mamu TV, and I release episodes every so often. I'm going to be doing a live Facebook interview with Paloma for Trump this Wednesday at 7 o'clock or around then. So just check it out, tune in, and I'm going to check out this debate. Maybe you guys will get a reaction from me later tonight. Okay? Have a good one. God bless.